Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. I am Taylor Kay on the mic, and our very own Johnson will not be in the building this evening. She's not feeling well, so we ask for all of your prayers and healing prayers for Johnson this evening. But we have two very special guests that I will introduce shortly. But first, we're going to start with our quote, and then we're going to keep it moving. How's everybody doing out there this evening?
Oh, wow. Awesome. Awesome.
All right. So our quote of the day is, each time a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for all women. Maya Angelou. Each time a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for all women. What do you guys think about that quote?
It's a true thing. I mean, there were women before us that came in and they laid the groundwork, so we appreciate those things that they've done for us.
Yes. And we still have some women that's laying that groundwork.
Absolutely.
Sure are.
Yeah.
Yes. It's so powerful. When I read that, I was like, wow. And especially with it being Women's Month, I just felt like that was appropriate.
She's always good for a good quote, too.
Oh, thank
right?
you.
Yes, yes.
Oh, you talking about Maya Angelou?
You can take
Yes.
credit, too. You and Maya. You're still here.
Well, Johnson always says that she loves the quotes that I pick out, so that's what I thought you were talking about.
Well, I agree. I totally agree.
Oh, thank you. So, in the news, there's been some talk about Baltimore City Public School. And with Baltimore City Public School, they were saying that they were actually sued by a news media, and the news media won, but they were sued because they weren't disclosing information about what was taking place as far as, the educational goals and what was actually happening surrounding the children receiving education, proper education. And so they lost. And so now they owe this news media all of this money. What do you guys think about that?
That sounds absolutely crazy to me. I'm trying to understand what are the damages? Because
so
usually
they were saying that so what the judge said agreed upon was that it's public knowledge, therefore they shouldn't withhold information.
Mm-hmm.
And so this news media reached out to them several times and they withheld the information, and they're saying that they're not only withholding it from this certain news media, but they're withholding it from the public, period.
So I don't understand why they wouldn't just have them share the information.
Well, sometimes
Right?
when people want to hide information, or they just don't want the public to be able to have access to it, that's exactly what they do. They hold off, they keep it hidden, they just don't want the public to know. And so when you get the media involved, that means they want the word to get out, probably because they already know what's in there.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. The word should be
know,
out, but
yeah.
I don't understand what did they say? What they're paying them?
Oh, it was a large amount. Do you
Really?
remember? I can't remember.
I know it's over $100,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my issue with it, well, number one, it should be public knowledge. So
I agree.
So that part we get. However, I'm wondering what the media is going to do with that money, because I would say Baltimore City Public Schools need that money.
Exactly.
Our children need that money. Our babies need that money. So I pray that they will find a way to funnel it back into the school system, so that it will still be able to be used for our youth. But I have a feeling, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I thought that was interesting. So if you are listening to Women in Business International Radio, please feel free to send us your comments. Talk to us about Baltimore City Public Schools. What do you all think about them being able to be sued and actually losing and now owing this large amount of money? Oh, Tracy Fuller says she believes that it's $125K.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
$125K.
With
Wow.
the way that school system is struggling, I don't even see how they could accept that money.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like the right thing would have been to say, okay, so clearly you need to share this information. Let's get about the business of telling us what we're asking.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it to our attention, because a lot of people don't know. And, you know, the first thing, you need to know what's going on in our community so that we can have a voice. And, you know, I am a little outraged with the judge for setting such a high amount of money for Baltimore City public schools who were just campaigning. Basically, they weren't campaigning, but people were campaigning to get heaters in the classroom. You know,
paying $125,000 for not sharing information.
Yes,
and that's is that a fine, or is it going to this
No, it's a
media?
fine. It's a punitive.
It's going to the media.
To the media to pay for not answering the request. They didn't answer the request, so it's a punishment for not answering the request. So my thing is, do you really want to pay and be punished that way when you know that you need the money for something else? It just, I understand the judgment itself, but will it actually be paid? I just don't understand why they would allow it to even get that far. Why would you do that?
Right. So, if you're just joining, we are talking about Baltimore City Public Schools being sued for not sharing information that should have been made public. And then we also need to question, why aren't they sharing this information?
Right.
So, you know, that's a big part of it as well. So, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Women in Business International. We have two wonderful guests this evening, and I am going to introduce none other than one of our very own WBI members, Miss LaTanya Murray Smith, so tell us the name of your organization.
I know many things have evolved since the last time I was here, but my business is still $99dress.com, and we have evolved to a brand, which is Diamonds and Roses, which is a separate line of dresses that are also sold under a separate website at diamondsroses.com. And this year we added the Miss Legacy pageant, the Diamonds and Roses Miss Legacy pageant, for young girls ages 10 up to age 25, to help give them a chance to come forward and learn how to have some confidence, be able to speak, put out their causes, and just learn to grow, learn to come into themselves. So we've incorporated that with our Diamonds and Roses event for this year.
That's nice.
That's wonderful. So what gave you the inspiration to start this organization?
Well, if you remember last year, we did our fashion show, and we also gave away a prom dress. That was our goal, to be able to help young girls in that way. Over the course of this past year, we've seen that it's great to have a dress. Everybody wants a dress, you know, that's wonderful. However, girls need more than that. And there's some basic fundamental things that are just falling by the wayside. When we see this thing that's happening in the world, there's a lot of shifting and changing. So I decided I want to be a part of the shift and the change. If there's going to be some kind of impact, some kind of influence, we need positive influence. So my goal is to be able to reach these girls, to plant some seeds of God in them, to be able to just tell them something that they'll carry with them. You know, we remember some things that a teacher told us when we were younger, just that one special teacher, and we carry it with us. We don't realize how much impact that teacher had, but this is what I'm trying to do. I'm not a teacher, but I have raised 3 children of my own, and you know, I've got a little bit of experience. You know, my oldest is 30, my youngest is 11, so I've got some time in there, and I realize that just wherever they are in their life, if you just take the time out to just give them something, just nurture them, and then teach them that they do have a voice, especially in this Me Too world that we're living in. You know, we don't want to be Me Too. We don't want to be echoing everything. You need a voice. So I want to be one of the instruments to be able to get these girls to see a positive way of going about and becoming the woman that they were destined to be.
It's so important. Yes, it's so important. So, you know, one of my mentoring groups actually came from the whole unrest that we had, and that was the reason why we started the Leadership Academy, because we felt the same thing. It was like they said that the children were acting out just to act out. No, they were acting out because they couldn't find that voice. Yes. And so it's so important for people like yourself to able them to find that voice and for them to use it. So we salute you.
Absolutely.
We
Thank
definitely
you.
salute
Thank
you. So when did your organization start?
It just started over this year, literally after the last event. It was already brewing in my mind. I just didn't know how to, bring it to fruition. And maybe a week after the last event, I said, this is how I'm going to do it. Girls love pageants, and even the girls that don't know anything about pageants, they still are interested in getting dressed up and being pretty and just having that
Right.
opportunity. But they're nervous. They're trying to find their legs, so to speak. So I figured if I could just reach out to a few, if I can impact one person,
That's right.
just
Say it.
one.
Yeah.
Say it. Say
That
it.
it's everything. It's absolutely.
It's so
everything.
important. Like the what's going on in our world with the societal ills. A lot of people say, "Well, I don't know," and this person is a thug, and they want that. Nobody came out the womb with a gun in their hand.
Right. Oh,
So
my goodness.
therefore, because they did not come out the
Learn.
room with a gun in their hand, then we need to say what's going on to make them want to pull out that gun.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's really a spiritual thing. There is a spiritual unrest in this world that's just, it's not something fake, it's not something pie in the sky, it is real. If you read the word of God, if you believe in the Bible, everything is there. Our whole lives, everything is written right there. So
Right.
pay attention to the signs
Oh,
of the
yeah.
times.
Just go to Genesis.
Right? And take it all the way to Revelation. I mean, it's there. You read it, you acknowledge it, and then you act accordingly. You don't pretend that it doesn't happen or
Right.
that there's no impact. Oh, it's not my kid, not my child. No, they're fine. They're doing good. I'm a good person. That's good enough. And it really isn't.
Right.
You have to do
your
more.
part.
That's right.
Yeah, you have to do your part. It's so important for everyone to do their part. When I think about the societal ills that's plaguing our community, and along the poverty, the homelessness, and then people just walk past and they don't do anything.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I saw a person laying on the street the other day, just laying, not on the street, but on the sidewalk.
Right.
And people were just around that person and it was okay.
Oh my goodness.
And it's not okay.
It's not okay.
So it's so important, like you said, if we want to affect change, then we have to be that change.
Exactly.
So how can we be that change? We can, do things like you're doing. You're trying to empower youth. So
Technical
technical
difficulties.
Yes.
But so tell us, so if there's some young ladies out there that are interested in being a part of your group, how often do you meet?
So we've closed off already for this year because our event is on Saturday, this Saturday, March 23rd at 4 o'clock at CCBC Community College in Essex. But if you go to MissLegacyPageant.com, information is updated there to let you know what's going on. So all during the course of the year, we'll have times where we'll come together and meet. I was just telling the girls that next year, if you're familiar with the place Sight and Sound in Pennsylvania,
Yes, that's
they're
beautiful.
our founding of this the Miss Legacy pageant is based on Queen Esther, and
Oh.
Sight and Sound is doing the play of Esther. And, the first time they're doing something on a woman there, so it's a awesome opportunity. I'm going to get the girls together and charter a bus and take them up to see about Queen Esther, because
Isn't
we
that
are the
beautiful?
queens that were made
Yes.
for such a time as this.
Yes, and that's why it's so important. It just makes me cringe when I hear someone cussing their children or calling them names, because they take on that, they hear that, and they
Yes.
take that on.
Yeah.
And so if we could just empower them. So I don't know if anybody noticed, but when I'm on social media and I see it's somebody's birthday, I don't even have to know the child. I'm normally like, happy
Right.
birthday,
Right.
princess.
Celebrating
Right.
people's
Yes,
children.
Yes.
happy birthday, Prince.
Right.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
letting them know that they're the prince and princesses of the world,
Yeah.
and that they'll grow up to be the kings and queens. And that is so important for us to just keep empowering them. Let them hear those positive messages.
Yeah.
So,
I want to tell you that you actually impacted me, because I was the person that I don't spend a lot of time on social media, but when I would see that you would say happy birthday, and I would clearly know that there's no way you could know who that person is. But you would say it anyway, and it inspired me to start doing the same thing. And now I'm like,
Wow.
I'm celebrating you too. You know what? You celebrate me, I'm going to celebrate you too. Happy birthday. And I don't know who you are, but God said this day you'd be born, and
That's
you're
right.
celebrating, so I'm
Yes.
celebrating with you.
Yes,
So
yes.
thank you.
Oh, thank you. So you never know when people are watching you.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it's so important to be that example, that role model, so that we can mirror those positive things, so we can get rid of the negative. So, you know, one of the things that I always like to say is, instead of being crabs in a barrel, we're going to dispel that myth one person
Right.
at a
Yeah.
time. And it's so important in all areas of our lives, because we can make this world a better place.
Absolutely.
But, you know, it just takes you and me.
Yes.
It's funny you say that about the crabs in the barrel. I think it was last year sometime. I found a picture of the crabs in a barrel, but it was showing one getting out, but they were pulling the others out of the barrel, and I was like, it was such a. I'm sorry. Oops. Sorry. It was such a positive picture, because we get so used to thinking of people clawing their way out and, you know, stepping on whoever to get out,
Yes.
and seeing that whole image kind of gives you a
Wow.
better idea of what crabs in a basket can look like. You know, us helping each other out.
Yes.
You know, get back into that free ocean and do what we got to
Right.
do. So
Yeah.
it was funny you said that, brought that up.
Yes. So we are going to take a brief break. So stay tuned to Women in Business International Radio.
Y'all see what I'm talking about? Come on, Kiara Sheehan, come help us. Everybody clap your hands. Kiara Sheehan, make some noise. Let go.
What you gonna do when your back's against the wall?
Hello, 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 everyone. You are listening to Women in Business International Radio. I am Taylor Kay on the mic, and our my fearless, phenomenal partner, Johnson, is home resting because she's ill today. So keep her in prayer. But thank you so much for tuning in. And let's look at a few of our comments. So, Brittany Hale said, great. And Tracy Price said, yes, so important. Thank you for what you do. So, probably talking about, we were here talking with LaTanya Murray Smith, and she was just sharing with us how she's using her organization to help to empower our youth, our young ladies, and give them some self-love and for her to just pour her love into them as well.
Yes, indeed.
So tell everyone how they can reach you.
Okay, absolutely. You can find me on Facebook, LaTanya Murray Smith, or $99dress.com, or Diamonds and Roses Couture. It's all the same on Facebook as it is on Instagram, and you can email me at actually all my email addresses are on the website, so you can just click and link all the way through, or you can call me or text at 443-791-6165.
All right, and then you want to share some information. We have a wonderful event that's coming up.
Yes, indeed. I'm on Eventbrite, Diamonds and Roses at Eventbrite. You can find information about this Saturday's event. It is the second annual Diamonds and Roses fashion show, along with our first Miss Legacy pageant for 2019. And you can still purchase tickets now online through Eventbrite, or shoot me an email and I can get tickets to you.
So how much are your tickets?
The tickets are $25 for general admission or $45 for VIP. And actually, I think we're done with VIP. Sorry, $25 for general admission. Right.
Well, that's a good thing. Yes,
Good
VIP
things, good
is
things.
sold out.
Yes, and it's going to be a great time. We have a fantastic cellist who will be coming to play for the audience, and she's really great. Her name is Axisa. If I'm saying it correctly, but she's Baltimore talent, homegrown and raised right here. We have Pastor Elston Van Murchison from Victory and Grace Ministries, and his book has come out, and I have that on my page as well. But he's going to come and speak to the audience a little bit about his book. So you'll get a chance to come there, and you can even purchase his book. We have vendors there with hair products, purses, jewelry, just all the great stuff that you need for looking beautiful and feeling great. And then we have a dance troupe coming in from Brooklyn, New York, Mrs. K's Dance Academy and Double Dutch teams, and they are renowned in New York, and it's a big deal for them to come here for us. And they are world champions. They're absolutely great. So it's going to be a pleasure and a joy to have them on stage with us to perform for the audience. And then we have the fashion show, and then after the fashion show, we've got food and networking. So you get a whole lot for your $25. Sure. But not only that, the money is going to help support what we're trying to do with these young ladies. So even if you can't come out on Eventbrite, you can still make a donation to help out with our efforts.
Yes, that's amazing. And Women in Business International will be in the house hosting your red carpet.
Yes, fabulous.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that.
Yes.
All right. So we have another phenomenal guest in the house, Miss Celeste Taylor.
Hello.
So tell us now, Miss Celeste doesn't have one business. She doesn't have two businesses. She has three businesses. This lady is a boss. So you want to tell us the names of your businesses?
Sure. Well, the first is Events by Celeste, and that is an event management company. So we can do anything from planning your event to helping you with vendors, to helping with management of your guests, any of those kind of things. And we are also home of Photo Funnery, which is our photo booth service. Also recently started a food venture called Something Good, and I specialize in handcrafted dressings, salads, and wraps. And I guess intros and collabos I don't know if we're going to call it a business, but it's definitely a movement, giving
All right.
entrepreneurs an opportunity to network weekly. We'll actually be on tonight at 10 o'clock. And it gives entrepreneurs an opportunity to meet, greet, and connect with other like-minded individuals that have businesses, that are aspiring to grow businesses, or that just kind of need to be able to meet and link up with other entrepreneurs. So
It's amazing.
that's been great. Mm-hmm.
I know that I've tuned in several times, and not only do you get to meet people, but you know, we have a fairy godmother that's on there sometimes, like giving away things.
We sure do. We sure do. So it's a blessing, and it's funny because I'll hear about things months and months and months later, or find out that this one connected with that one, and this business deal happened, and this opportunity happened, or this type of resource was shared. So I'm really excited just about what Intros and Collabos has done, because it literally started on a humble.
Wow.
I was not planning on being up every Tuesday night for 2 years, getting together with entrepreneurs, even though I've been absent the past 2 weeks. She needed a little break.
Hey, sometimes I was getting ready to tell you, sometimes we need that break, you
Yes.
know, and it's okay to take it.
Right.
We as women, we go through so much, and we just push ourselves
You're
and
right.
push ourselves like none other. I'm sorry, men. I know you guys work hard, but I think we have you beat.
I'm sorry, I have to agree. But the other thing that's not a business, but I'm super excited about, which is the reason Nicole reached out to me, I am finally going to be a published author and part of a book collaboration
Yes.
called I Survived. And I was going to save this story for when we do our launch in Indianapolis in a couple of weeks. But it was just so profound because just, you know, we are at Awesome God Radio, and God is awesome. So
Yes.
a few years ago, I met Melissa Smith, who owns Timeless Junk. She's she does jewelry, and the necklaces were. I thought they were really pretty. You know, they had the rose gold finish, and I said, I'm going to come by. I want to get a necklace. So I get to her house, and she says, "You wanted I Survived, right?" So the funny thing is, at that particular time, God had been speaking to me about, Celeste, it's going to be time for you to start sharing more of your story. I had no idea, y'all, that 2 years later, I would be on a book project called
I Survived. Wow.
Now you can't tell me that's nothing but our awesome God, right?
Yes. Look how he
Right?
order our steps.
Yes, yes.
Wow. So, can you share just a little bit about you surviving? What does that entail?
There are many stories of survival, but actually,
Okay.
it was funny because for a moment, I was still trying to I was going back and forth about what I wanted to share about. And like most women, I have been a woman who has suffered many different traumas. And it was just amazing, just how God orders things, because the thing I ended up writing about, I initially thought, is this really going to make an impact? But as I wrote the words and shared about my experience, which I shared about the loss of my corporate job. And a lot of times people think about those things as kind of small things. I mean, job is a dime a dozen. You can always get a new job. But we are currently in a place where fathers are killing off whole families because they lose hope because they lost a job.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have mothers that are killing their children, or people taking their lives because of a job. So I really just shared about that journey because it was challenging. Like, I went to a prestigious prep school. I didn't finish my degree, and now here it is. I am getting laid off from a job. You know what I mean? So I just kind of talked about the struggle and the journey, but also just seeing the beauty of that struggle and how God used it to really encourage and inspire and lift other people up. I mean,
Wow.
It has been an incredible journey. It is not for the faint of heart. I can tell you
Yes.
that for sure, but
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you God is faithful, and he has just blessed in ways that I would have never been able to even fathom. I could have never asked or imagined.
So, did you start your businesses after you lost your job, or was it?
I did. I had done event planning type stuff kind of on the side. I mean, my mother has always been big on hospitality and doing parties, so that was just something that came naturally. So as things would come up, you know, I would kind of get invited to be a part of something or help plan things. And then after I got laid off from my job, I decided, okay, let me just start trying to move forward. So I had done a couple weddings and I was like, okay, I don't think I want to do this. I think I like private parties, birthday parties, corporate events. Yeah, weddings are beautiful. I'd like to be a guest. or pass out programs.
It sounds like you've encountered some Bridezillas.
I wouldn't say Bridezillas live. No, I'm just kidding. No, they weren't really Bridezillas, but it's weddings can be a lot.
Yeah,
and it definitely takes a special person to do weddings. And again, I'm not averse to them, but that just wasn't what I really. That wasn't my thing. Like, I love parties, baby showers, private dinners, those kind of events.
It's important
networking
to
events.
tap into your passion. Everything is not for everyone.
Exactly. I'll
And
decorate
that's
your church. I'll help you get
Come
some
on
flowers,
now.
like that kind of stuff. But I do not want to do day of coordination.
So, with your event planning business, do you provide corporate? Do corporate parties? You mentioned parties, but do you do like corporate parties? Do you, conferences, things of that sort?
We can, and we've assisted with different. We've assisted with smaller aspects. So we've done like the entertainment. We've helped with like the photo booth stuff, which was hilarious because I have to tell you the story. So my niece had her Sweet 16, and all the kids at the school it's a predominantly Jewish school. So, they did all these bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs. So as we're planning her Sweet 16, we're like pulling all the stuff together, and I'm like, oh, we should do a photo booth. And I told my sister, I was like, I'll take care of it. Da, 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 da. So like I'm literally going hard for a month, y'all. I'm printing everything in sight. I've got my foam core. I'm doing all these literally day and night. Aunt Celeste was rocking out because this was going to be
The
the
best.
ultimate photo booth. So long story short, as I'm getting stuff set up, my sister's looking and she's like, oh my God, I'm about to cry. I was like, don't you cry. I've been here. But the photographer came to me and he said, oh, is this your business? And I was like, starting tomorrow. So make sure you get some good pictures. And shout out to Kitty Clapp for getting me some good pictures.
Yeah.
And that is how that came to be. And honestly, a lot of the corporate work that we've done has been providing photo booth services for different corporate events. We've done employee appreciation events. We did a big CEO. It's like a CEO and upper management like conference and dinner over at the Air and Space Museum over in, I think it's considered Dulles, Herndon area. So we've gotten some really great opportunities, but it was because I did a photo booth for my niece's birthday.
Wow.
Who knew that would allow us to break into the corporate market?
But that's so important because let's think about this for a second. You were just volunteering, doing something out the kindness of your heart because you wanted to be fabulous for your family,
Yep.
and look what it turned into.
Yep.
So that just speaks to not only the adults listening, but hopefully children, that whatever you do, always do your best. I always tell my
Yep.
children, I don't care if you're cleaning the room. I want you to clean that room like you never cleaned it before because you do your best. That's what my mother said. If you're picking
Right.
up a piece of trash, you make sure you get all that trash out. Always do your best.
Right.
Always shine because you never know who's watching and how that could
Mhm.
matriculate into something else.
Yep. I said, I had no idea. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, now I won't have to sub this workout. We'll do it in-house. I had no idea that we'd be booking Christmas parties and holiday parties. And I had one client that called me and they were like, Celeste, they were like, is the photo booth lady coming back? And she was like, yes, I told them I had you booked. Yes, she will be here. So it's really cool because I think most people love a photo booth. But I'm a little OCD. Like, I want the first person to have the same experience as the 31st person. So
That's
there's
right.
always two people. My people already know I don't want you sitting down, because I've gone to weddings where the attendant has been like this on their cell phone. Passing you, excuse me, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I was just like, absolutely not. And then the table looks crazy. So for me, I wanted everybody to feel like they were the first person that stepped up there.
That is so important. Customer service has gone by the wayside.
It really has.
And it's so important. It means all the world to me. I don't care what it is. I will not utilize you. I will go past you.
Yep.
And have to drive, an hour to get to the next whatever.
Agreed.
To get good customer service.
I will go to second best,
I
third
will pay,
best.
I will pay more money. I will
Yep.
do whatever I have to get that good customer service. Like, so that
Yeah,
Yeah,
is
so we are
awesome.
about
really,
that.
yeah,
Why?
we are serious.
Little thing, a particular pizza place that I will not buy pizza from anymore. We were just having this conversation. He
Tell me
said,
after and I
"Why
won't
don't-"
either.
No, but he said, why? Just because you had a bad experience? I said, no, I had 3 bad experiences
Wow.
back to back to back. So that's why they will not give my money. He said, but it's my favorite pizza. I don't
Sorry,
care.
son.
Get a job, then you can pay for it yourself, and you can
It's
keep
about
them employed. But
principle.
it's right.
At
It's
some
your
point,
money.
when do you put your foot down and say, "Look, I deserve better"?
Yes.
And if you can't give it to me, step aside, because there's
Right.
somebody out here
Yep.
that can.
Yes.
You know.
Respect my dollar.
Right.
Yes.
If not, somebody else will.
Yes, I don't go into stores that don't respect me or my money.
Mm-hmm.
They will not see it.
Right.
You can ask my
Right.
children. I do not
Right,
play.
right, absolutely.
I'm sorry. I'm hard on that. Now you can, you know, if you show me that you're going to win it back, you tell me how, you know, how you
Yeah.
going to make amends for what's going on.
Right.
Then we can
Right.
talk.
When I have the 3 times, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
enough.
three
But,
times.
but I think that it's really important for small business owners to make sure they're willing to embrace even the hiccups. Because I'm telling you, like with the things I'm doing now, sometimes the timing isn't right, and I'm like,
Right.
I thought it was going to be 2:30, but I am so sorry, it's going to be 3:30. I
Right.
hit traffic, or this happened, or that happened. So people respect your honesty,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
they expect you just hearing them and just being willing to fix
And being
them.
apologetic.
Yes.
Right.
You know, some
At least I
people are
came.
just-
Some people-
yeah.
yep.
Right.
Like,
That's- yep.
excuse me, you
Yeah.
came because
No.
you were getting paid.
Right.
Exactly. You're not doing any favors. And I tell people all the time, like, your biggest foe is your ego. Don't let that ego have you treating people crazy, because
Come on
it's
now.
come here today, gone tomorrow. And like we have all attested to it.
Yes.
We will go the extra mile. We will pay the extra money for second best. If second best treats us like we're their number one
That's
customer,
right.
and it's
Yes, that's
important.
right.
People appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So we heard a lot about your event planning business. So let's shift gears and let's talk about your healthy eating.
Well, it's semi-healthy.
Semi-healthy.
Look, I guess it
Okay.
depends on what you get. If
Let
you
me
get a lot of
correct
cheese
that.
and stuff. Well, no, the salads are definitely healthy. And that's been great. Initially, my business partner and I had gone into this venture together, and we decided to take different paths.
Okay.
And she's still doing some great things. She's over at Something Fresh Goods.
Okay.
And I'm now running Something Good. So we're 2 separate entities, and people are kind of confused at first because like, well, wait a minute, is it one thing still, just 2 different places? But it's been great because I've always had a passion for food.
Okay.
And my cousin and I were talking a few weeks ago, and she was like, remember when you were making lamb chops and we were like 15 and I was 13? And I was like, was I? Like, but I've always loved the kitchen. My grandmother, my great-grandmother, my mother, they've always cooked, and I've just always loved cooking. Like, it's just a passion.
So are you a full-time entrepreneur?
Yes. That's
Wow.
all I do.
So was it when your job lost you?
They sure did.
That's right.
Yes.
That you became a full-time entrepreneur.
Yes.
So you see how God just orders your steps. And,
And let-
sometimes we're ready to crawl up in a ball and be like, why me?
Girl, I walked out like, Daddy, can you come give me a ride? Because I was catching the subway to work. He was like, huh? And my girlfriend, Unita, shout out to you. She and I were like, she was my girl. We worked together, and she was literally, and this is like my hardcore friend, and she was literally in tears. I can't believe they're doing this to you. I was like, girl, bye. And it was amazing because at one point I remember praying. I was like, God, I'm done. I'm sick of the foolishness. I'm ready to go. And it was like, no, I'll tell you. You'll know when it's time to go. And I was so grateful because I actually shared about this in the book. I said I remember sitting on my sofa and I was in this place of I was just so at peace. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, I'm having a nervous breakdown. There's no way I must be losing my mind because I'm not freaking out. I don't have a bunch of money in the bank and there's no plan. And it was just like at that moment, God was like, this is peace. Yeah. And I realized that peace is so much more important. And the things that I've done, like literally a few months after I was laid off, my uncle's has an organization that does mission trips, and it's for, African Americans to go on mission trips. And he was talking to me about it. I would have never thought working I made good money for a single person with no kids. Mm-hmm. I would have never even begun to imagine that I would have just been able to go on this trip. I would have, you know what I mean? Oh, I got to pay this. I got to pay. Literally with no job, y'all. I was like, okay, God, work it out. And I got a discount on the flight. Just everything fell into place. And when I tell you that mission trip changed my whole life.
Wow.
Do you hear me? We were supposed to be over there helping them, but that was a time where, and it's funny, in retrospect, I look back and see how God was showing me that He will always provide. He will always, there will always be provision. I can't let, when I tell, look, that's a whole nother segment. But when I tell you,
come back on that.
the stuff God did on that trip
Wow.
blew my mind. I have, fellow ministers that are on the trip. Oh, no, I got Celeste. No, I can take care of Celeste's dinner, or da-da-da-da-da. And just all the, even down to the airport. I get to the airport, okay? I am going to go and check in. My wallet is gone. No ID, no passport. Gone. Now, mind you, it's the crack of dawn, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Did I drop it? Did I leave it in the car? So luckily, I was able to jump in the shuttle, get back to the car. Listen to this. There were 2 cars that were identical, parked a car away. So I'm calling my friend. I'm like, your key isn't working in your car. Because I was at the wrong one. Yeah, literally. So I'm literally going to her car. There's my passport, all my stuff laying on her back seat, getting back into the little shuttle to get back over to the airport to catch my plane.
Wow.
It was, and that's how the trip started. And when I tell you, my faith was built like no other during that mission trip. It changed my whole life.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So, so being on this mission trip, share like one of the experiences that really helped to be like that eye opener to you.
Okay, so I think the one story that sits out to me the most is, like I said, I was on limited funds, so I knew I had to be very careful about how I was spending and making sure I was, And it was funny because I've always been the person that likes to give. Like, I like to give to people. I like to help people. And that was one of the most challenging things, losing my job. Because I didn't have money like I used to. Like, for me, it would be I'll sponsor 2 kids, or I'll do this, or I'll do that, or I'll pay for that. So it was a humbling kind of place to be in. And it was funny because I really wanted to give to this lady. And I was like, but I'm not going to have enough money to be able to stretch for the rest of the trip. And I remember getting back to my room, and the bag I had 2 pockets. So I went to go reach into this other pocket, and I was like, oh my gosh. Because they told us to be careful about how you have your money. So I had split the money up. So I had enough to be able to give, but I was so worried about, I got to be careful. And at that moment, for me, it was an aha moment of, when God prompts you to give, don't worry about where it's going to come from or how it's going to work out. He will provide. And like I told y'all, it was like, oh no, I'll take care of Celeste's dinner. I got Celeste this time. It was crazy the way just people, the outpouring, because most of them didn't even know until I was sharing with a lady that we met in this village in, oh gosh, I'm trying to think. It was down in the part, Quisqueya, which is down, like, it's toward the end of the Dominican Republic, not far from the Haiti side of the island. And I was sharing with this woman, and I was talking about how I didn't have a job anymore, and da-da-da-da-da. And people were like, what? You came on this trip? What? Wow. That takes a lot of faith, sister. Yes. And it was encouraging because, like you said, you don't know who's watching you, and you don't know what your story or what you're doing and how what you are doing is going to impact this person.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was a blessing. I was like, thank you for the layoff, Jesus. I'm on my first mission trip.
But you just don't know how that one thing can be such a blessing to you. I've been in that experience a couple times. I was a settlement agent.
Okay.
And so I would, come to do your settlement if you were selling or refinancing, and the business was booming. Right. Or that money was rolling in. And then all of a sudden,
2008.
Yes. June of 2008.
She remembers the month and all. She's like, it's like yesterday.
Oh, I remember the day, June 18th of 2008. And I was just starting school. I finally had decided to go back to college. So I had just signed up to go back to college.
Wow.
And I had just bought my house in 2007.
Oh, man.
And here it is a year later, and no job.
Wow.
Yeah, and then so thankfully I had a husband who was able to provide, and so I kept saying, well, Lord, what I want to do something that I enjoy doing, because I enjoy doing that. So I want to do something that I enjoy doing. I didn't want to just do anything. And so I said, well, I'm funding this mentoring group, and I love that. It was grassroots out of my home, and every trip we went on I just paid for, and all the girls got to come, and we had a ball.
I love
and
it.
the children were learning to love themselves, and I could see a difference in
Yes.
relationships and everything. And I was like, well, I really like that, but how can I turn that into a business? And then he just dropped it in my spirit to put it into a nonprofit, and that's the beginning of Empowering Minds and Maryland's Youth,
I love
which
it.
still exists today.
Yeah.
So,
That is great.
so you just never know. You just
Right.
never know.
But God will also just at those times in our life we
Speak.
need to we need a word from
Yep.
Him, and He gets our attention. You know,
He sure
He
does.
reminds us that He is our provider. So He'll put us in a situation like, you know, tapping you on the shoulder, saying, you know, it wasn't you. You were giving and giving because it feels good to give, but you're giving out of your abundance. But give out of
Your poverty.
Yes.
that's
Yep,
the real
out of the
giving
lack.
thing. The
And let
lack.
me tell you, he took that job away for a reason. I felt myself
Yeah.
starting to change to the point where I was, to the point where my children would have a program. And, I don't know if you guys know about settlements, but they'll tell you the settlement's going on at 3 o'clock, and it won't go on until like 7, 8 o'clock that
Oh, I've heard
evening.
horror stories.
Yes.
So, I'm just sitting waiting for them to send me the documents so I can print them out and go. And then I was all over the state of Maryland. So I might have a settlement PG County,
Oh, wow.
or it might be at Wycomico. I mean, it was, So I would try not to take too far, but like sometimes it was, But the reason why I'm bringing this up is that I would miss my children's performances. And anybody who knows me knows I don't miss my children, my nieces, my nephew. Like, if I know about it, that means I'm going to be there. And I was missing those special moments.
Wow.
And then I had to really realize that I got to make a difference. So I actually let my license expire, because I knew if I let my license expire, there's
You
no
wouldn't
way
go
I would
back.
go back.
Wow.
Now, am I regretting that decision? Yes. Because guess what? My children are grown now, so I could have
Now you
been, I could have maintained my license until then, but I wasn't thinking straight. But the important thing is that I realized what I was doing wrong, so I
Right.
could
Yeah.
fix it.
Right.
And
And
that
now
was
you
the
can
important
go
thing.
back.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
you know what you
I
did
don't
wrong.
think I ever want to do that test again. Let me tell you, that test was serious. The
Yeah.
only other person that can do a settlement is an attorney. That test was serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was intense.
Oh yeah. So I don't think I'll be going back to take that test.
Gotcha. Well, you're doing something way better, I would say.
Yes. Oh, I love what I do. So I was able to replace something that I love with something that I loved even more, working with the kids. And then I realized that God spoke to me and was like, I put you here on earth not to just empower youth, but to empower women too. I was
love
like,
it.
oh really? Oh my gosh. And then it's funny how, he sends me these ideas and they just like, bam, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Then I'll call Johnson, where I ain't heard of Def Johnson, got another idea. So it's beautiful how, each of our stories kind of are similar to that. God has ordained us to do
Right.
what we're doing.
Right.
So that is amazing.
And let me tell you something. We would always laugh because I got connected to a ministry in Illinois. People were like, how in the world? And I was like, that's a whole nother story. But I was not a morning person. Okay. I could not get up from my good paying job. I just didn't do mornings. And all of a sudden, it didn't matter what time I went to sleep at night. I was up early. I had started taking all the prayer requests. So I was on before early, getting on. And it's been a blessing because it has definitely helped me even to where I am now. Like needing to be able to do those early hours, to be able to get up, spend my time with God, and get busy.
Awesome. Wow. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming to
Thank
share
you for
your
having
stories.
us.
Yes, absolutely.
So-
It's great.
Now, before we go, can you share with us where they can purchase your book? When will it be available here?
Okay, so I'll be putting up the link shortly. I just got my I think we're getting some advertisement stuff too, but I'll probably just get that posted up soon. So pre-sales will probably be starting tonight.
Awesome.
At the latest tomorrow morning. I'll have those up. So like I said, I'm really excited about it. So stay tuned.
Yes. Well, tell them how they can reach you.
Okay, so on Facebook, I am Celeste412. Instagram, Events by Celeste. Intros and collabos, and the new Something Good.
All right. So if you want something to eat, and while you're eating, you can be empowered by the book.
Yeah.
Come on now, and then later on you can watch the intro and collabo and network.
There you go.
Bam, she's a one-stop shop. Who can say that, boy?
Right.
So again, thank you, ladies, for joining
Thank
us
you, Nicole.
on Women in Business International. We do have a few events that I would like to share with everyone, and then we will say good night. So Prestige is having an event, and I'm sorry, y'all, normally my awesome, phenomenal partner takes care of yes. So it's certain things that we work on, like we work as such a good fine oil machine, because there's certain things that she just automatically do, certain things that I do. We already know each other took care of it, so we don't have to worry about it.
There we go.
Yeah, so Prestige. They will be honoring women for the month of March.
Oh, nice.
So if you have any nominations, they're accepting submissions up to March 11th. An evening of honor on March 23rd at 7 p.m. So as you can see, we're going to be leaving LaTonya's event and then heading over there, because we're going to be hosting this event as well.
Wow.
So
nice.
March 23rd. So we have the dollar dresses.
$99dress.com, diamondsandroses.com. You can find me on either one of those. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and directly on the website. All named the same.
And you want to share, do you know the Eventbrite link that they can go to purchase those general tickets?
Absolutely. It is www.diamondsroses.eventbrite.com.
Awesome. And there was one other event I wanted to, and if I can't, there it is. Our fabulous producer, he is on the money. And then we have Honorable Faces, which is a scholarship breakfast, Saturday, April 27th, 9 a.m. Tickets are $45, and the guest speaker is none other than Miss Tiffany Majors, President and CEO of Greater Baltimore Urban League. So don't miss being a part of the Legacy Love Showcase this year. All right, and we told you about the Miss Legacy pageant. And our anniversary party. Yes, our anniversary party. I have so many dates, times. Oh my goodness. It is coming. I know it's April 11th at Prestige, which is 7 North Calvert Street. It starts at 7 p.m. And we would love to have each and every one of you come out and celebrate with us. Tickets are $25. We are sending out messages to all of our guests that we've had on Women in Business International Radio and asking them to come back and join us. So if you're under the sound of my voice, please visit our Eventbrite page, and please visit our website at www.wbiradio.org, and you can purchase your ticket there for our first Women in Business International Radio Show.
All right.
So if you would like to find these ladies, they have shared their information. We're going to also ask them to go back and drop their websites or links to themselves within the watch party, so that it'll make it more accessible to you. But we have some phenomenal people doing some phenomenal things. Let's support us. So as we always close, we say individually we can do great things, but collectively we can forever change the world by Nick Mosby. Thank you all for listening, and tune back in next Tuesday right here on Awesome God Radio at 8 p.m.